Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a presentation on what broadcast production has to offer at Queen's University. My name is Frank Delaney, and I am a senior lecturer here in Queen's, and I'm the subject lead of broadcast production. So I'm going to just walk you through what our program offers. We have a very exciting program that we're very proud of here at Queen's. We believe it's very industry relevant and also provides a very well-rounded, practical, creative, and academic education to our students. First of all, I'll go through a little bit about Queen's. Why study at Queen's? Well, Queen's is a member of the Russell Group of Universities, and these are the top 24 research-intensive universities in the UK. It's also ranked in the world's top 250 universities as of 2021, and we're also ranked in the top 140 in the world for graduate prospects. Belfast is a great place to live. It has the lowest student rent in the UK, and it's a small town, but it's a very vibrant student community here as well. Queen's has fantastic infrastructure, which we use for broadcast as well. We are based in a building called SARC, which is Sonic Arts Research Centre, but we also have obviously have access to the campus, and students have access to the various buildings that are relevant to our course and the various social buildings as well. The BA in Broadcast Production is a 3-year degree program. It's a practical 3-year program. It's creative and it's also academic. It's very industry facing. We're very connected to industry, and we are our lecturers in the subject area are also industry practitioners as well as academics. The program was developed in consultation with the BBC and with other broadcasters, and we maintain our connections with the other broadcasters. In fact, we have connections with independent production companies in Northern Ireland and with the main broadcasters here, both for TV and for radio. So we do encourage a cross-flow between us and the industry, which keeps us very relevant and keeps us very current as far as where broadcast is headed and what the current developments and the current practices are within the broadcast industry. Our department also reflects a very contemporary and cutting edge level of broadcast production. So we are training people and teaching people to use broadcast media and creative media that currently are in use and in vogue now, but also start looking ahead at what's going to be happening in a few years' time. Our department is supported by research, critical thinking, reflective learning, and engagement with industry and cultural contexts. What that basically means is that we provide people with an education, not just a training. So we're practice-based. We're also very creative thinkers. We teach people how to practice and make the media of broadcast and creative media, but we also teach people how to think creatively, as well as the critical thinking and the reflective learning. This is the academic side that we plug into the practice and creative side. And it's the flip side of the same coin. So once you understand the theory of broadcast, once you're able to engage with organized thought, critical thinking, academic writing, when it comes to broadcast theory and what's going on in the world, when you plug that into the practice side of the degree, you end up with a very powerful training and a very powerful knowledge in broadcast. So we're a creative department, and what does that mean? Factual programming focus for online and traditional broadcast forms. So at the moment, broadcast is generally understood to be television and radio, whereas we see that as slightly outdated, and we have a more expanded view of what broadcast means that takes in social media, that takes in online distribution, that takes in virtual reality, that takes in podcasting, as well as the traditional television and radio forms. So, you know, television and radio use sonic art and video art, as in video making programs, and sonic as in sound productions. And we have just expanded those to look at the different applications and uses at the moment. Online, as you know, is huge at the moment, and it's applicable in so many areas of production. So we're very embedded in that as well. Storytelling, journalism, podcasting, radio, TV, studio, virtual reality, immersive audio, TV and radio studio, multicam, and live programming and research. It's all grounded in academic rigor here at Queen's. So what we are training people to do is to think creatively, tell stories, and produce creative outputs using these forms, using the forms and the genres of broadcast journalism for video and radio and audio, podcasting for factual, studio-based live podcasting, radio that encompasses radio live studio, radio documentaries, TV multicam studio. So that would be studio-based shows that have a number of cameras that work as live as opposed to documentary formats, virtual reality, immersive audio, and all of that is underpinned by a strong base in research. So we will teach students how to research stories, how to come up with ideas, how to thoroughly research those and apply them to creative media. This research also spills into the academic side, into our theory modules, where we analyze and interpret today's media landscapes and their cultural and industrial contexts. So that research has two wings to it. There's the practical-based research, which is where you would take a subject matter and you will research it and use that research to produce an output as we described. Journalism, podcasting, radio, video, television. Also, that research is the same process, a very similar process, and nearly the same process used for academic research, which will result in essays and academic writing. And both of these sides feed each other very well. We're also very strong in fitting creative thinking and ideas to the demands of the industry. So what that means is the industry is constantly evolving and changing due to the emerging nature of tech and technology. And as we've seen over the last few years, Instagram, Snapchat, all of those platforms have become very prolific. And so that's all changing very quickly. So the sources of where video and audio is being seen and been distributed is rapidly emerging and changing. And so we are teaching our students how to think creatively about the future to be able to keep up with this changing world that we're living in as far as media production goes. We're an industry-facing degree program. So what does that mean? It means that we have our finger on the pulse of what's happening in the industry. We listen to what's going on with the broadcasters, with the production companies, and we make sure that our teaching is updated and current with that. We teach people core production skills. So that's from developing concepts and ideas through to the production and editing of and final delivery and broadcast of productions. What that means is we will start off teaching students how to have an idea that's relevant, how to develop that, how to research it, and how to turn that into a finished production, and then how to actually carry that thinking all the way through the production. So we will teach people the various production skills: audio recording, camera work, editing, writing, all of this practice-based work. It's intensely practical. We bring industry speakers in for many of the modules, and so we are constantly having a through flow of industry through the department. And also many of our department academics and lecturers are in the industry as well at the moment working. So there's a through flow that way as well. There's an additional emphasis on emerging and interactive and immersive media formats. So virtual reality, augmented reality, audio, immersive audio, all of that is currently expanding in broadcast, and we are on the pulse of that. We're based in a facility that is tooled up and equipped for that exploration and that level of research. We're digital media savvy and broadcast literate. And what that basically means is all of things digital media and relating to digital media production, we teach and we know about, and we practice. Many of our lecturers are practicing creatives and, as I said, practicing in the industry, but also practicing with their own university-based research as well. So we're very much ourselves practitioners and thinkers. So our academics, our theory-based lecturers are constantly researching and writing and publishing, and our practice-based academics are constantly researching and making their own work as well. So this feeds back into the student experience and the student learning. We see ourselves as an innovative department. So we're looking at virtual reality and 360 video, which is ahead of the curve at the moment regarding broadcast. We're creating a dedicated online channel for student work, where student work can be seen publicly. And we give students, early on, we're giving students the ability to get their work out there. So from day one, you start making work when you come in here, and there is the opportunity for that to be seen. We also submit the students' work into many of the national, excuse me, and international competitions. And some of our students' work has been broadcast. So we do believe in this visibility and making students and their work be seen from day one. So that's they're available to all students. And of course, within any degree, some students tend to engage with this more than others. There are students who would rather wait till second and third year for their work to be going out there, and that's fine too. We do this at the student's own pace. As live program outputs for local and online, what this means is we make studio-based programs like they were live TV shows. And many of these get seen. I'll show you a clip in a moment of one of those. The resources we have are 4K Blackmagic camcorders, Sony camcorder kits, Canon 650 DSLRs, and Insta360 VR cameras. That's on the camera department. That's really from the top end down. The Blackmagic camcorders are camcorders that are used in the industry for making documentaries at a very high level today. The Sony camcorder kits are smaller, they're more portable, they're easier to use, they're brilliant for reportage and journalism where a producer may want to operate and do sound on their own. They're more automatic. Canon 650 DSLRs, they're great intro cameras. We use these to teach students at the start how to shoot, how to light, how to record sound. And these cameras are very small, they're very portable, they're very easy to use. And then we have, excuse me, then we have the VR cameras, which are 360 cameras, a little bit more complicated, but great fun to use. We have a range of microphones for outdoor reporting, for studio, for various instruments, binaural, 360 audio. We're based in the Sonic Arts Research Centre, so we have a huge array of sound recording and microphone equipment available to us. The audio recorders we use are industry and broadcast standard and specification. We use Zoom H4Ns, which are small and handy, but yet record to broadcast standard. We use the H2 Next and the Zoom F8s. We've also recently purchased some sound devices equipment. We are keen on students knowing and having experience on the equipment that they will encounter in the wild, so to speak, in the real world in the industry. When they graduate and go into a production company, they will be faced with the same equipment that we have here. And so the idea being that it won't be new to them. They'll know how to use it. The facilities we have a multicam television studio with green screen facilities. There's full lighting here. It's a 3-camera multi-studio with a gallery. Our students do the live in-studio productions here, and teaching happens here as well. In second year on the degree, students do a live multicam TV program. That teaching and that practice-based work comes from this studio. We have a full radio studio that's capable of discussions, studio-based presenting work. It's a fully equipped radio studio and to full professional standards. The Sonic Laboratory, this is one of the jewels in the crown here, so to speak. We are based in the Sonic Arts Research Centre, and in this building we have various rooms from recording studios to surround sound, audio rooms to production-based music studios. This room is the Sonic Arts Research Centre. It's got 48 speakers surrounding the room, and it's got sub-speakers under the mesh. If you look at the floor there, you'll see that it's a grid mesh that has speakers under the floor. So you're standing literally in a sphere of sound, and we use that for full immersive sound experiences. And we also have a very large screen which we can broadcast there from. So that's a very special room. There aren't many like it in the world. And that's great for research and developing really cutting edge sound and video productions that can be played in that room. We have an iMac computer suite that is fully equipped for post-production for audio and for video. We are authorized Avid and Pro Tools practitioners and teachers and licensed. They are the pieces of software for audio and for video that are used most in the industry. We also have facilities for students to edit on DaVinci. So students can come into this room and edit their work, and we have all the various softwares on that and the various workstations. So as I said, we're an AVID learning partner. So we are certified to give AVID certified instruction in Media Composer and Pro Tools. Media Composer is the video editing package that you will find in most production companies and broadcasters and most production facilities houses. Pro Tools is the audio version of that. Why certified? Certified means that if a student, for example, wishes to be an editor or a sound mixer and they're certified in this software, that's recognized globally. If you walk into any major post-production facilities house in the world and you have an AVID certification, it guarantees that company that you are fluent in that piece of software, which makes it a very valuable certification for graduates to have. And it means that there's a certain level of understanding and industry readiness that you will be carrying, and employers see it that way. So if I look at our program, this is the layout of our undergraduate program. In semester one, the first thing students learn is broadcast production skills. So this is where we start to teach students how to tell stories using media production and using the various media, photography and audio and editing. So the broadcast production skills starts students off telling very small stories through stills photography, escalating that up to video and audio recording, and then teaching them how to tell those stories through video sequences, adding in video editing. This is a one semester module, and it takes students through the various cameras and the various ways to compose, to record sound, and to start to tell skillful, controlled stories in broadcast. It also introduces students to storytelling as well. Broadcast Analysis 1, it's a theory-based module, and this is analyzing the theory of broadcast, cultural broadcast practices, and the world of broadcast in a sense. So this is a very good grounding academically to feed into broadcast production skills. We also in semester one, in first year, teach sound recording. So how do we record clean professional sound that's used in broadcast productions? So these are the first three modules that students will encounter, the compulsory ones in semester one. In semester two, we take the broadcast production skills a stage further and we introduce students to broadcast journalism. So this is telling journalism-based stories in small packages, usually a few minutes long, through video and through radio. So you'll be using television-based practices and radio-based production practices for this module. Broadcast Analysis 2, it's a deeper analysis of broadcast. So it's taking the theory of what you're learning slightly deeper. Editing for television and film is what we introduce next. So as you see, we're deepening this skills base and this program in conjunction with the academic learning at the same time as we progress. So that's first year. Level 2, factual and documentary. So this is introducing students to documentary and factual programming for both television and radio. So, you know, within this genre, it's a very wide-based, you know, you've got current affairs, you've got factual television, you have documentary-based programming. The avenue is quite wide in this genre. So here we introduce students to that programming and style of output. The practices of recording and editing and video, and they're the same across the various genres. So this just deepens that again and skews it to a different angle. Radio and podcast production. These are the skills necessary to produce radio documentaries, live studio radio, and produce podcast. So audio recording, audio editing, and storytelling through these arenas as well. There's various optional modules that the students can choose. These change. They may not be the same as this at the moment. They change depending on other departments and other lectures that students can take outside the broadcast area. Sometimes these include drama, sound design for screen, British cinema, and there's a variety of these every year on offer. In semester two, the students look at another area of television programming, which is the studio program. We call it the television program. So this is a multicam television studio. So the kind of programming that you see, studio-based programming that happens in the broadcasters that you see in your television screens every night. Again, we're deepening the students' practical learning, giving them exposure and teaching in another area of TV. So by the time you end the second year and go to third year, you have a round experience of multiple styles and genres of program making. Our theory module here is popular broadcast genres. So this looks at the various genres and styles of programming that you see in your screens on the industry landscape at the moment. And then the third module here is looking to the future of what broadcast is. So we're looking at interactive media. There'll be touching on virtual reality here. We'll be looking at how broadcast media such as video and audio plug into web-based applications and environments, which is very, very current at the moment. A lot of broadcast is moving online and it's getting plugged into interactive websites. And so it's a very pertinent and growing landscape here. So we look at that at the second semester in level 2, second year. When we get into third year, we have structured this so that the students are now fairly grounded. You've learned the various production techniques: editing, sound recording, photography, lighting, writing, storytelling. You've learned them with various genres, from studio-based to documentary-based to factual-based to broadcast journalism-based. You've learned about future broadcast. You've learned about podcasting and radio. And you've all the theory under your belt that supports that in the first 2 years. This year is about going deeper. So we have semester 1, the practice-based project is broadcast media project development. So in this year, students choose a major project, and it can be in any area that they've learned. So they could choose to do a podcast, they can choose to do a solo video project, a team-based documentary, they can choose to do some VR project, or immersive media or interactive media project. And this gets developed in semester 1. The theory-based modules here now become a little bit more specific: media and time, language in the media, and immersive media. And then also we have the option here of doing a work-based learning. So for the year, students can complete a certain amount of hours work experience where they go out into the industry, find jobs in production companies, and complete a certain number of hours there. Or if students prefer and they would rather go down more a theory and academic-based road, we have a dissertation module where a larger dissertation can be researched and written. And in this year, then we start looking at audio post-production as part of these modules as well. The second semester, the practice-based module in red, is taking the idea that was developed in broadcast media project development. So when students choose their project, broadcast media project development shows them how to develop that to a deep and professional level. So let's say a student wants to do a TV documentary on a certain subject. This will teach them how to creatively think and creatively develop that, create a proposal, create budgets, all the ethics involved in it, create the various pre-production documents that are industry standard, and develop this project to a stage where it's ready to film and ready to go into production. In the second semester, media project production takes that project that's been developed into production. And on that project in semester 2, we teach students then, guide them through the production process of how to make their productions. And they're mentored and taught and guided the various techniques at a deeper level than semester 1 and semester 2. And they're brought through the full production cycle, so that students then have a larger major broadcast production finished project for their portfolio. As you noticed in one of the slides earlier on, one of the things we aim to develop in this is a portfolio for students. So by the time you graduate, you will have a portfolio of work. You will have the assignments from the practice-based projects in all of the areas that we discussed: journalism, radio, podcasting, TV studio, faction documentary, broadcast production skills. All of these modules have assignments that get students making work. So you will have a whole portfolio of productions that you've made by the time you reach the end of third year. And then in addition to that, you will have your major project, which is this one that's developed in semester 1 and created in semester 2. Again, in semester 2, more specific theory-based, gender and broadcasting, theory and practice of adaptation, and Hollywood cinema too. Some of these change from year to year. These are what they were this year. So again, these take the academic side slightly deeper. We have created a program that is, the majority is practice-based, but there's a very, very strong theory base here as well. So some students come in and they find that they really want to focus on the practice-based area, and we would always advise them to really stay strong in the theory because it deepens and strengthens the practice area. Other students come in and find that they really like the theory and they would like to really focus on that as well, to a larger extent, which is what the dissertation module is. So that's why we allow students to choose between practice work-based learning or dissertation. So that's our program. I'm going to show you a video now of the TV studio program that second years made last year.
Hello and welcome to Fresh Perspective, coming to you live from the Sonic Arts Research Centre, right here at Queen's University Belfast. I'm Harry Mitchell.
And I'm Chloe Murray. We aim to give you a unique perspective on what's happening all around Northern Ireland.
Everyone involved in this programme are part of the second year class of BA Broadcast Production. We've been working over the past 12 weeks to develop and produce QUB's first ever student-led live television programme.
Make sure to join the conversation online using the hashtag #FreshPerspective and also follow us on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter at QTV Belfast.
What are you waiting for? Come on.
And here we are in our brand new studio. We've got our set, our lovely crew.
And of course our fabulous studio audience.
So what our employers say, because we're so connected to industry, we're very interested in what the broadcasters and the employers say about our degree. John Lawrence, of the digital news editor of Channel 4 News, had this to say. We get very positive feedback from all the employers around what the course is. The fact that we're industry relevant and current in industry today is very important to us. Graduate destinations. So when people think of broadcast, they only just think of TV and radio, but really there's a huge amount of destinations for graduates here. What we are teaching students is how to communicate and tell stories through the media of video and audio. And when you boil it down to that and look at that, it opens up the field hugely for employment. The classic routes, radio, television, podcast production are there. They're the ones we would normally think of. However, on today's corporate landscape, nearly every large company and every small company needs to communicate through video and audio. And our students are in a great position to do that. We have many students that go on to advertising agencies, go on to PR companies, go on to social media content creation companies. All of these areas now are using video and audio to tell stories, to communicate, to advertise, to make programming, and to produce media. So we are now living in a world where social media through video and audio is used everywhere. So everywhere this is used, our graduates have a very strong chance of employment because of the level of production expertise they will have and the fluency they will have in creating content. So journalism is another area. If we look at all of the online newspapers, The Guardian, Financial Times, they're all producing video content and video documentaries and video stories. If you look at tech, the likes of Google, Snapchat, Facebook, they're all using video as part of the emerging tech and emerging creative tech. VR, AR is being very much researched at the moment. So these are avenues. PR, advertising and corporate. Many of the big corporate companies now have in-house video production departments and radio production departments and social media content creation departments. Our students are really well positioned to work in these departments and arenas. Communications companies. So there are opportunities within politics, there are within various styles of public relations and communication companies. So students or graduates that may have a specialist interest such as politics or as sports, there are dedicated routes there. So for example, I know people who are producing work for the IRFU, the Irish Rugby Union, specifically rugby-based work. I know students who are producing the campaign videos for election campaigns. So they can be very niche, really. Teaching and media training is another avenue. So students can develop to go on to create media training courses, be teachers, be lecturers. Audio engineering is another area, wanting to go into the technical side of mixing audio, or video engineering in that sense, editing, the specialist areas of video post-production, audio post-production. These are growing areas at the moment. And then, of course, for students who would like to further study or deepen and go in an academic direction, either theory-based academic direction or practice-based academia, further studies available. So master's level and PhD level, which are also available at Queen's to take this level, to take this degree and extend it further. So the avenues of employment are wide and broad, and there's more opportunity for this arena than there ever has been, and it's constantly growing. So I would say that the skills that broadcast students will get here are hugely valuable and hugely current. The fluency to produce media-based content is a valuable commodity in today's world, and that's for certain. So Future Screens Northern Ireland is an incentive that it's a government-based incentive the Queens are at the heart of, which is looking at helping develop and create sustainable screen-based enterprise and industry in Northern Ireland. We're very much at the heart of this, and we're helping develop projects to help grow companies and create new screen-based enterprise in Northern Ireland. So we're very much got our finger on the pulse on the landscape and what's required. Our alumni and our graduates have gone on to do many different things. Here we have Phil Agnew, who became broadcast operations manager at Pi Communications. We have students who've gone on to be production managers, production coordinators, to students who've gone on to be sound recorders, cinematographers, camera people. So the scope is varied and wide. You know, students can look at the camera department, the audio department, the production department, directing, producing. There's so many avenues available within broadcast itself. So we're very connected, and our alumni have been very successful. The entry requirements for the course: A levels, an A and 2 Bs. There's no subject-specific requirements. In the Irish Leaving Cert, we have the selection here. That's it, 6 H3s or 4 H3s and a H2. If students have any specific inquiries about entry requirement needed for this course, they can direct those to the admissions offices. So that is my presentation. That is the overview of broadcast production. I'm very proud of our course. I think we have a fantastic undergraduate program that is constantly growing, constantly evolving, and constantly becoming more and more relevant as the industry changes. So we have some great lecturers here. We have a great team. We're very passionate about what we teach in our subject, and we are absolutely confident that our students will get the best education in this arena and will also have a good time here and enjoy their 3 years with us. So if you have any questions, you can drop us an email, and we'll endeavour to answer everything as soon as possible. The website is here, askahss@qub.ac.uk.